You're listening to All of It on WNYC. I'm David First, in for Allison Stewart. And it is Dumpling Week. In honor of Lunar New Year, New York Times Cooking is releasing new dumpling recipes from different cultures all around the world. Eating dumplings during Lunar New Year is said to bring good fortune. In China, families gather to meticulously fold pockets of dough into those irresistible half-moon shapes. And dumplings are a staple of cuisines around the world. In Japan, they're referred to as gyoza. In Korea, they're called mandu. And of course, there are Polish pierogies. So, it's lunchtime and I'm hungry. So before I get carried away, let's welcome our guests to share their delight for dumplings. New York Times food and cooking columnist Eric Kim and food writer Hetty Lou McKinnon are here with us. Eric and Hetty, welcome to All of It.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Are you hungry?
I am hungry. I'm confessing
You're about to get hungrier.
I actually am hungry.
Okay, well, that's not going to be helpful. Listeners, we would love to hear from you during this conversation. How have you been celebrating the Lunar New Year? Were there dumplings involved? What flavor of dumpling is your favorite? Do you want to talk about a family recipe that has been passed down? Give us a call or a text, 212-433-9692. That's 212-433-WNYC, or you can send us a message on social media at allofitWNYC. So, Eric, different cultures have developed foods that involve stuffing, a type of filling into pastry all over the world. How do you define what makes a dumpling at the New York Times?
This is very controversial this year because I have a bun, technically / a bao, which I think some people will say is not a dumpling. But in Korea, the word wangmandu, which refers to king dumplings, is just referring to the size. They do involve a yeasted kind of bread roll wrapped around a very savory, decidedly dumpling filling.
What kind of size are we talking
We're
about?
talking like this size.
That's really helpful on the radio.
Yeah, well, what? I'm not really good at sports. Is that a
That's a tennis
ball
ball size.
size? Yeah, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah.
But those are really, I think anything that's filled with, a filling, I think anything that gets steamed, pan-fried, or fried, I feel like we're sort of stretching the definition of dumpling this year because we want everyone to understand the possibilities of filling things. And
do you draw the line somewhere? Do you have some examples of cultures that have dishes with strong similarities?
Okay, so we were trying to decide whether or not, for instance, an empanada was a dumpling. Mm-hmm. And what do you think, Hetty?
I think it is.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because I was in Argentina a few years ago, and I was an expert empanada maker.
Nice.
Because my family, our family's dumpling is called a gokje, and it has exactly the same crimp.
Right.
And that was part of the
Interesting.
first New York Times dumpling week. So that recipe's on the New York Times too. And it's exactly the same crimp. So
As we're talking about some of these recipes, where can people find all these recipes that you're talking about?
they're on New York Times cooking app, NewYorkTimes.com, also NewYorkTimesCooking.com. Is that right, Eric?
Yeah, nytcooking.com.
Yeah, nytcooking.com.
Now, Hetty, many people celebrated the Lunar New Year yesterday. Mm-hmm. What role do dumplings play on the dinner table for some families during Lunar New Year?
Yeah, for me personally, we had, our family dumpling, but they're a sign of luck. They say they represent ingots, gold ingots, which are old currency in Chinese culture many years ago. So, but in reality, they're a great way of just coming together with your family, cooking together, wrapping together. Some of my earliest memories and most treasured memories are actually making dumplings with my mum, being invited to that table, to be allowed to fold and crimp a dumpling.
To be allowed?
Yeah.
That was a big
It's
deal.
a rite of passage. And my mum didn't invite me into the kitchen very often. It was her domain, except to make those gokje dumplings. So it's a very treasured moment and memory for me.
That's how you learned.
Yeah.
Is it a similar way that you learned how to make dumplings, Eric?
Definitely under my mom's tutelage. I would say for our family, though, my mother liked using us for manual labor because, she would make the fillings. The thing about dumplings is I used to think that the folding of it was the nuisance and the eating of it was the only joy. But the second year doing this dumpling week at NYT Cooking, I just kind of realized that for me, it's it's a real symbol of family. I mean, even this year, I have those king mandu. They come with in like a set of 4 in a steamer basket, and every time I open that, I'm like reminded of the 4 of us, and the 4 of us gather around a table, helping my mom fold dumplings. I think also because I'm sharing this practice with my partner, we're getting married this year. I kind of invited him into the kitchen, and it's just the 2 of us now, and I kind of wanted him to learn about dumpling folding so that we could start a new tradition together, and because we're starting our own family now.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. If you would like to join this conversation and talk about dumplings that you love, what are your favorites, and just talk about some of your Lunar New Year traditions, 212-433-9692. That's 212-433-WNYC. And let's take a call right now. This is Styliani in Brooklyn. Welcome to All of It.
Hey, hello.
Hey, Styl.
Hi, Hetty. I couldn't not. I just wanted to say how much I love your tomato dumpling salad. It's one of my favorites, and it's a staple, and it's a Hetty original.
That's amazing.
Oh, totally.
Thank you, Styliani.
So you know each other.
We do. She's a big fan of this show. I told her to call in. But the dumpling tomato salad that Styliani mentions is a very popular recipe that's also on NYT Cooking. The great one. It's turning dumplings into a salad.
Interesting. I was just going to say this has nothing to do with dumplings, but it does.
It does. Yes. You can use homemade, but in the recipe, it's frozen dumplings. You can buy it at any supermarket these days, and you throw that in with tomatoes, a chili crisp vinaigrette, and you've got a really refreshing salad. And in the summer, you probably want to eat it 3 or 4 times a week because it's that good.
I made it as soon as it came out, that recipe a few years ago. It's very viral for us. Yeah.
You're going to back that up.
I'm going to pack that up.
Okay. Let's take another call. Jeffrey in Brooklyn. Welcome to All of It.
Hello. I'm calling about a non-Asian dumpling, which is a Jewish dumpling called kreplach. My grandmother used to make kreplach and put it in soup, but these days I like to go to the Second Avenue Deli and get them fried on a plate with a side of sautéed onions.
Amazing. What's inside? What's the filling?
It's beef. I'm sure there are onions in there too, but it's a beef. They're quite large at the Second Avenue Deli, so it's not like eating a Chinese dumpling. But they're really, really delicious, and it's one of the best things they make, and it's very authentic.
Wow, that's good to know. I can't eat it because I'm vegetarian, but Eric, you can seek it out.
Love a beef dumpling. I like that you're addressing the non-Asian dumplings because one thing that really reminds me of New York City and kind of growing up here is, when I say growing up, I mean my 20s. I feel like Veselka, sitting at that, bar with, the potato pierogi and having the applesauce and the sour cream and the caramelized onions. That was a real moment for me in time.
Yeah.
Irresistible.
Irresistible, so delicious.
Well, if you would like to join this discussion, the number, once again, it's 212-433-9692. That's 212-433-9692. I mentioned that New York Times Cooking is celebrating Dumpling Week. Can you let's go back for a second. What is Dumpling Week? This is the second time it's happened, right?
Yeah, it's the second annual Dumpling Week. It's going to go on every year now. But it's really just 5 days of celebrating dumplings and then all the different styles of dumplings. I think last year, which was the first year, there were more traditional dumplings, drawing on family stories. This year, we've tried to, expand the range of dumplings a little bit. Like my contribution is a mushroom manti, which is a Turkish and Central Asian dumpling. I tried it 20 years ago in Turkey, and it's something that I've been making since then. It usually has a beef or lamb filling. My version has a mushroom filling, and it's very different to like Chinese dumplings that I grew up with. It's served with a yogurt base and a spicy tomato sauce on the top, so it's kind of like a layered dish. It just kind of redefines what a dumpling is for me, especially as a person who grew up eating them. So
I mentioned I was hungry before.
That one's really good.
Yeah, that sounds
one.
incredible.
We have some great dumplings this year too.
I think I associate Dumpling Week with getting to showcase everyone's expertise. So I see Dumpling Week as a spin-off, if you will, of our Cookie Week, which is an annual Christmas tradition. And with cookies, the barrier to entry is really low. But with dumplings, we also think the barrier to entry is like low to medium. But the crimping and the folding, that you get better at it with experience.
Yeah.
And so I love watching the videos on YouTube. Every day there's a new video coming out on youtube.com/NYT Cooking. Hetty's video came out today, actually. And you get to watch these experts really kind of teach from their experience. And watching Genevieve Ko, Hetty, Sue Lee, and Kay Chun kind of teach, they're like cooking demonstrations, like proper cooking demonstrations, and they do it with so much elegance, and they've been in this industry for a long time. So it's a real delight and a real learning experience to watch these videos from these women.
We're speaking with food writers Eric Kim and Hetty Lou McKinnon. Thanks both of you for being here today on All of It. We are talking about dumplings, and we have a question here. Someone writing in to say they need to be gluten-free. Can you recommend any gluten-free dumplings?
Well, yeah, we actually have one this year. It's by Genevieve Ko. It's a Thai basil chicken dumpling that's made with rice paper wrappers. So it's the rice paper wrappers that you'd use in like a Vietnamese spring roll. They're made of rice flour, and you just kind of dunk them in water and they soften up. And so hers, as long as you eat chicken, you can try that one. It's a great gluten-free dumpling option.
Okay, well, you had a quick go-to answer, so thanks for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we're going to take some of your calls right now, 212-433-9692 here on All of It. Jennifer in South Orange, New Jersey, welcome.
Thank you. So this is kind of a sad call. So my daughter, who's a senior in high school, tore her ACL and her meniscus this past weekend at her big cheer competition, and it's her last season. But her favorite food in the world are dumplings. Whenever I say to her, "What do you want for dinner?" she always says dumplings. And so obviously this is like a major snafu in our lives who weren't expecting this. So I saw the Dumpling Week recipes in the New York Times, and I went to Whole Foods this morning and got everything to make the Thai fusion one and the pork and chive one. And now I just heard you talk about chocolate. And I'm thinking that will really, because of course Din Tai Fun is her favorite restaurant that you can never get into. So hopefully this will all cheer her up as she gets ready to have surgery instead of finishing her.
Oh, my goodness.
School.
Well, good luck with all of that. Thank you so much for sharing that story. And Eric, is there some special extra magical comfort quality to dumplings?
Yeah, I think one of the recipes that really exemplifies this well is Kay Chun's. She has a cabbage, potato, and cheese dumpling. And it's such a cool expression of her creativity. Kay's Korean, by origin, culture, but her mother grew up making her this Russian soup, quote unquote Russian soup, they called it, and it was like a cabbage and potato soup. And so it's a potato stuffed wonton that she finishes in butter, which is delicious.
It's
and
incredible.
then when she plates it, showers over some parm, I think, some cheese, dill. There's a lot of dill in there, so it sort of comes from no culture but all cultures. And then I ate a lot of those last night. We had a party. It was good.
It's very resonant of pierogies, actually. Yeah. It does have, especially with the dill and the butter. It's really reminded me of it, but actually very new at the same time.
Yeah, that's Kay. Yeah.
Well, that sounds delicious. Let's take another call. Hannah in Warwick, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I lived in Turkey like 25 years ago, so I haven't had this dish in so long, and it makes me so sad. But they have this really, really beautiful little dumpling called mantı, and it's like little pinch-sized purses of like beef or lamb. And I've never made it, so I can't really explain to you exactly everything that's in there. But it's definitely served covered with with garlicky yogurt, and I feel like there was a mint component to it as well, and also somehow a tomato or pepper was also in there. Maybe it was a little bit of a tomato sauce, but oh my gosh, like the flavors and just like the textures of it. There are a few things that have been tastier in my life.
Well, I
Have
actually
you heard of manta? Have you had that?
We actually have a manta in our dumpling package this year, so it's actually my recipe. It's probably a little bit different to what you remember. This is a vegetarian version, and it is served with the garlicky yogurt and the spicy tomato sauce. It's actually, I use a cheat. I don't make the dough from scratch, but I use a wonton wrapper. So they're much bigger than what you would remember in Turkey, but it still has all those elements. And there is dried mint in there. There's Aleppo pepper. It definitely reminds me of the manta I had in Turkey, but a little bit different probably to what you remember because they're vegetarian.
But give it a try. That sounds great. And thank you so much for that call. Speaking of controversy, we had some controversy earlier. Mitchell in Manhattan wants to know if you consider ravioli to be a dumpling.
Personally, I do.
Okay.
That could be my personal opinion, but to me, a ravioli. So when I do hot pot at home, this could be controversial. When I do hot pot at home, I actually put ravioli on the table. So if I don't have dumplings in the freezer and something quick, I'll get out frozen ravioli and it goes in the broth. To me, it's so similar to a dumpling that I do consider it a dumpling.
I think we're of the bent to kind of include most things because I think what's really special about Dumpling Week is showing the breadth of, how all of us we fill something, we boil it or steam it or pan fry it. I think just all these cultures separately having done this and how it's become like the holiday dish, I think that really says a lot about our just human nature.
Yeah, I think it's similar to, say, like rice. So many cultures have a rice dish that's very special, and I think there are so many cultures that have a dumpling that is unique to them and special to them. So I think that, we should definitely be looking at all the dumplings.
Yeah. Totally.
Welcome all the dumplings.
Yes, we welcome all the dumplings.
Well, we have a text from someone who says they went to the New York Times Dumpling Week event last night, and it was great.
Nice.
Oh,
thank God. We had a great time.
So congratulations. Again, if people want to engage, what's the first place to engage if you want to plug in immediately to the Dumpling Week?
Definitely New York Times Cooking's app, or you can go to nytcooking.com. And it's all going to be there on the front page, splashed everywhere for people to see. Yeah.
And we'll take another call right now. We could still get a few more calls in 212-433-9692. Maria on the Lower East Side, welcome to all of it.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. Do you have a dumpling story?
Yes, I do, in fact. I came from Europe, and I got engaged somehow or another in the food business, and then I also had a Japanese partner through which I discovered all kinds of things, including the gyoza. But they were with meat, and I decided then to create one that I used in my restaurant, the Kitchen Club, that was open for 20 years. So the restaurant was featured with lots of different dumplings, and in the end, we also made dumpling classes, which were storytelling, because each dumpling's filling was like a story, like a little content. And the shiitake dumpling was a big hit on the menu. And eventually, we served chocolate and raspberry dumplings with ice cream for dinner.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go straight to another call. Liti from East Brunswick, New Jersey. Welcome.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call, and I'm so thrilled to tell the story of my grandmother making up dumplings.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So usually we think of the the Jewish style dumpling as kreplach. My grandmother made the Ukrainian dumplings called varenikes. I actually haven't heard the word kreplach till I came to the States from Israel. And she only made them on special occasions. So it would be our birthdays and maybe one holiday. But walking into her house when she made the varenikes was magical because she had to dry them before cooking. So she spread dish towels all over her little tiny apartment on every surface. There were the dumplings drying. And was the most beautiful thing I saw as a child.
Oh, you're setting such a beautiful visual for us there. And you use that word magic again.
Yeah, magic. It reminds me of this place in Brooklyn called bar Leica. They do pelmeni. They do those dumplings as well, and they serve them with like sour cream and dill. I think that
so
combination is just so comforting, and it's like what I want to eat after a drink or two.
Okay, we have a crazy text here. Someone wants to know what is the worst kind of dumpling? Like the heaviest bad dough to filling ratio, takes forever to cook, etc.
What?
I don't know if I
Stunned
could
silence.
answer that.
We don't want to get canceled.
No.
Just kidding. I don't know. What dumpling do you not prefer?
Can't answer that.
No.
Okay.
I do have one I don't prefer. I don't want to say it.
Okay, it's far too controversial.
Controversial.
Well, someone also writes in to say, and I hope you could maybe correct my pronunciation here. There's a great Afghan dumpling called oshak that also has the yogurt and tomato sauce.
Yeah. Hetty, when I ate yours, it reminded me of this dumpling dish at an Afghan restaurant. I had just had it, and I thought that was really cool.
What was that dumpling like?
It was very similar. The kind of pinching of the four, like it was like rectangular, you know, the square, and then it was served with the yogurt sauce and tomato. It was very similar, and I think they just share that edge, right?
Okay, we have just a few seconds left. We'll try to take one more call. Dominique from Brooklyn, welcome to all of it.
Nice. Hey.
Hi, how are you? Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Thanks.
Did you have a dumpling story?
Yes. Okay. So I wanted to share about my one of my high school best friends. Her name is Tracy. She is Chinese, and her family does a Lunar New Year celebration every year. And so back when I was like a sophomore in high school, she invited myself and all my friends over, and I have this like really amazing memory of all of us around the kitchen island doing dumpling making, and it was like so cute and wholesome to just see like how her family just, you know, took us in, and everyone was like so excited as soon as any of us actually successfully closed the dumpling. It was a really amazing memory. Yeah. And then, so that definitely put me onto dumplings a little bit. And I also remember that being my first experience, baked pork buns, which are now like my favorite go-to.
Yes.
We were having a discussion about whether that's a dumpling or not. I don't know how you guys feel about
Eric,
that.
We say it
quick.
is. We say it is, and we have Wang Mandu on the site, and it's basically the steamed bun, but a different filling. I call the filling jalapeno hamburger.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
wow.
Eric, your ruling is yes.
And my ruling is yes.
Okay, fair enough. We've been speaking with New York Times food and cooking columnist Eric Kim and food writer Hetty Lou McKinnon about dumplings. Thank you both so much for joining us. Happy Lunar New Year and happy Dumpling Week.
Yeah,
Happy
Lunar New
Dumpling
Year.
Week to all who
To all.
celebrate.